today brought more news on Bernie Madoff, the man behind what could be history's biggest Ponzi scheme. He's alleged to have fleeced as much as $50 billion from celebrities like Larry King and Zsa Zsa Gabor, charities, pensions, and everyday investors. Earlier today, I spoke with the former chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Arthur Levitt, on the need for regulatory reform.
I think there has to be an agency, call it the SEC or call it the new SEC, responsible to being the investor's advocate. That must be their obsession. That must be their mission.
Today, the Senate held a hearing on how Bernie Madoff got away with his scam for years, with much of the blame laid at the feet of the SEC.
And the SEC never noticed the elephant or even smelled the peanuts on his breath.
Now, you know, Tyler, following Mr. Levitt's comment there, says we don't have a lot of cops when it comes to this business. And I mean cops like in the industry who understand this business, who can protect consumers.
We'll always leave it to Chuck Schumer for a good quip there at the end of the thing. But I'm agnostic on the idea that many are putting out there as to we should put all of the regulatory agencies that touch financial services together. Obviously, there are state agencies, there are federal agencies, there's the Federal Reserve and so forth. But the one thing that we don't seem to have is enough people, enough money backing the enforcement actions. That's one thing. And the other thing is we don't, at the current, or the former SEC, I should say, we did not have a spirit of demanding, insisting upon regulatory compliance. That seemed to be a rather low priority among the people who were there over the past 5 years or so.
Mr. Levitt formed the Office of Risk Management in the SEC, and now it's down to one person. One person there, not enough for people. So, Jeff Sonn, you're out there and you see this so much. Listen, we have to be our own cops, don't we?
We really do, and let me tell you something. I work as special counsel to the SEC in yet another Ponzi scheme case, and it's easy to bash the SEC, but let me tell you the big picture, guys. The system is broken. The main cop on the street really is the Financial Regulatory Authority for broker-dealers, and that is an industry-sponsored, industry-run company. The fox is guarding the henhouse, guys. Wake up. FINRA is broken. The SEC is broken. I don't agree with Tyler, respectfully. We need something like they have in the United Kingdom. It's called the Financial Services Agency. It is one agency that regulates insurance people, broker-dealers, whether it's loan modification companies. If you do anything in investments, you're registered with the FSA. Now, I agree with Tyler to one thing. We need cops on the street. So I've been advocating the following. Merge the SEC with the FBI. When the fraudsters know that we have full-time FBI agents inside of the SEC helping the SEC, it's not enough to blame them. Let's give them cops.
Well, I tell you,
let's really turn them
Tyler,
loose.
Talk about some heat if the FBI is on you.
Well, I think that's right. I would say this. I don't know that bigger is necessarily better when you put agencies together, number one. I'm not sure that the efficiencies are always there. But I do agree with you that the idea of self-regulatory organizations have not generally covered themselves with glory. You've also taken away, years ago, the ability of individuals basically to sue their brokers. Now everything has to go in front of arbitration panels. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir, but I believe that's the way everything is handled, and those panels are heavily stacked against the individual investor.
I have a very simplistic...
Oh, let me tell you something, Tyler. Wait. Last year, investors only won 37% of their cases against broker-dealers in arbitration. Arbitration is a joke.
Well, that's what I'm
because
saying.
They put a stockbroker on every panel.
They took away the right for individuals to sue their brokers in a court, and they forced them into the arbitration panels. Now,
and let me tell you something. Right now, you have the Arbitration Fairness Act in front of Congress that's going to abolish arbitration. So let's get rid of FINRA. Let's put some cops inside of the SEC. That's one of the problems. The SEC needs police in each department. They only have one enforcement department. And let's give them the money and the tools they need to do the job.
I have a very simple idea. Let me throw this out. If you are convicted of a sex offense in this country, you go on the sex offenders registry. Anywhere you move in the country, you have to register, and everybody who lives in the community can just do a simple database search. It's not confusing at all, and find out exactly who's living on my block.
It's kind of like when someone bounces a check and the check appears in the store.
Exactly.
It's the same concept.
I mean, the technology is there, obviously. Now, listen, the best way to understand the biggest monster of the bunch, Madoff's impact, is to hear directly from his alleged victims. So tonight we're bringing you another one of their stories. Alexandra Penny is a best-selling author, renowned artist, and former editor of Self magazine. She's lost her life savings to Bernie Madoff. In a blog for the Daily Beast called The Bag Lady Papers, Alexandra writes about her shaky future. In her first installment, she wrote, "Before I reached for a bedtime Tylenol PM, I Googled the Hemlock Society. I wanted to know the painless way to die." In her second installment, "I'm down to a tranquilizer and a half a day, and only a few are left. I won't be able to afford health insurance any longer." On the money line right now, Alexandra Penny. Alexandra, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Hi, Carmen.
Now, listen, after 7 weeks you've been dealing with this, you are angrier than ever, and you still have some unanswered questions.
I am definitely off the charts with my level of frustration. You see, I can't even talk. I'm so frustrated. Here are my questions. That guy Cosmo was just arrested yesterday for a much smaller Ponzi scheme, and he's already in jail. Madoff confessed he's a much bigger criminal, and he's still in his gorgeous penthouse eating caviar and champagne.
But, you know, Sonn, Jeff, this is because he posted bail, right?
Yeah, I mean, he put up $10 million not to skip his trial. I don't know what Cosmo's bail is, but there is $10 million up there.
Yeah, but that's $10 million.
I mean, the government is doing something.
That's investors' money. That's
exactly
the problem.
That is
That's our $10 million.
money.
That's right.
Right. And Alexander,
it's going to be listen. It's going to be forfeited back to the victims at some point.
Wait, I have to pay my electricity
they're going to get their hands
bills
on that
every
$10 million.
month. I have to pay my electricity bills every month. It's not going to come for years.
Alexandra,
well, Alexandra, have you filed your SIPC claim? Are you doing something to help yourself?
Of course, I had to hire people to help me with the SIPC papers that look so deceptively easy, and I have to pay a tax attorney to help me file those. Plus, I have all the Xeroxing fees and times for the hundreds of papers I have to
Alexandra,
file.
I want to offer some thoughts here, and I read your blog, and you're a strong woman. You've got a strong history. I think you were a feminist in the 70s. You got divorced. You walked away. You didn't want any money. You can rebuild. And I want to tell you right now, you have an opportunity at this stage of your life to give hope, inspiration to people across America who have been wronged. Please don't waste any more of your time being angry and distracted by this. You have a voice, you have a platform, and you have an opportunity to turn this lemon into lemonade.
Yeah. Alexandra, you have a wonderful position. A lot of folks are following your blog. So where are you going to take us next?
Well, I really want to know, on a personal level, and as we all do, what is going on with this investigation. As a matter of fact, where's the computer programmer who designed the software? Find him or her, and I think you'll find out a lot. Who bought the hundreds of pounds of paper that Madoff used? Why do I have to pay for advice to fill out SIPC?
Jeff, you are the man to answer this one.
I'm going to answer that, guys. You have to understand something. Alexandra, the SIPC is an agency. It's not a government agency, and they've got a duty in bankruptcy court to make sure that your claim is real. So it's your burden of proof to show how much money you lost, how much money you put in, how much money you took out. It's a bankruptcy court case, and that's why you hired a tax attorney to help you.
But let me ask you something, Jeff. Why is SIPC saying they do not cover fraud? If they don't cover fraud, what do they cover?
Well, wait a minute. You have to distinguish between garden variety securities fraud, when somebody lies to you to make an investment, and what we call embezzlement or theft. You've been embezzled, Alexandra, and SIPC should cover your claim.
They are
the problem
saying it's
is
fraud. Hang on.
Well, no, don't worry. No, this is a theft claim. This is a theft claim, and Steve Harbeck, who was on this show. Excuse me, Alexander. Steve Harbeck was on this show and spoke to Carmen, and he admitted that he knew the money was stolen, so you should be eligible. The problem is, are you going to get $100,000 or are you going to get $500,000?
Which is the max that they can offer you.
Right. I think SIPC is only going to try and pay the $100,000 cash claim. The question is, can you get $500,000 for lost securities, which they're now saying never existed? That's why you have an attorney. Keep pressing your claim. time.
Alexandra, keep working with your attorney and keep us posted. And Jeff, we're going to talk to you too and see how we can move this forward and give more information. We're going to continue to bring you the latest news on the Madoff case, and later how to make sure your guy is clean. We're going to show you how to conduct a real background check on your broker, advisor, or investment manager. And if you've been a victim of a Ponzi scheme or any other kind of investment fraud or embezzlement, we want to hear from you. Head to onthemoney.cnbc.com, click on the Facebook link, and post your question. I'll be there, and I'll see you there.